Welcome to the Work-Life Balance Podcast. I am Kara.
And I am Maggie.
Together, we're a power real estate team with the Bajetti Partners in Nashville.
We believe that the hustle culture of today's driven entrepreneur who lives and works in Middle Tennessee requires balance. So today we're going to be talking about mindset, time management, and brand building when it comes to having success in building your own business. So I guess we'll start with mindset. We'll just get right into it.
Get right into it.
So one thing we wrote down to talk about was routine and how like a routine can kind of keep you on track. So I guess we'll just start with Kara and see what she does on a daily basis.
Every day is kind of the same, actually. It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Wake up, work out. I like to give myself like a moment after working out of like, not so much like prayer time, because I'm not really I'm not like a religious person, but I'm definitely a spiritual person, right? So like I do a gratitude, put out in the universe kind of what I'm expecting in the day, which kind of sounds funky, but it works for me. So that's kind of my morning routine, and then it's shower and get my calendar scheduled for the day. Okay. So typically that's when you and I will have our phone call, and we'll get everything scheduled to, you know, who we need to follow up with or what our plan is for the day.
Right.
What about you?
I kind of do the same. I mean, but mine starts with coffee.
Oh, gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, got to start with coffee. So I just wake up. My dog usually is the one that wakes me up, and then just go downstairs, get coffee, go outside, and kind of the same with you. I think, which I heard this quote from, his name is David Meltzer. He actually has a podcast, and he's like really famous in the sports industry. But he says, like every day when you wake up, give thanks, because that is going to set the tone for your day. Every day before you go to sleep and every day when you wake up, just say you're thankful for something. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do. I just like go outside and just think, which I am more religious. I don't know. I'm not like super, super religious in the fact that I go to church every Sunday, but I'll sit outside, pray, and just be thankful for what I have, and then work out if it's a day to work out, which is most days, but not all the time. Then, like you said, I'm about to do lists. I like to be able to check things off.
And cross it off as you get it done.
Right. So I'll do that, and then that's when I'll call you, and we kind of just go over everything.
Yes, and I think that for us and probably most people out there, to have like a list of what you need to accomplish that day sets the mood, sets the intentions. Like it doesn't overwhelm you where you're like, oh, scatterbrain, oh my gosh, what was I supposed to do? And that kind of goes back to how we even balance the day. Right. So for me, like the balancing is out of control. I'm juggling children and sports and, you know, you and me and husband and so forth. So,
and it's a lot, like, because right now you and I are kind of, I don't want to say in limbo, but we are, like, we're trying to build a business and it's just us.
Right.
So everything we do on a daily basis, like whether it comes to social media or whatever, it's you and I doing it rather than having a team to do it for us. So,
which puts a lot of pressure on us, but also kicks our ass at the same time, and like gives us that spark that it's like, okay. And you hold me accountable a ton of times where I would be like...
You do me too, though.
Kind of want to get my jams and just, like, put on a TV show. And watch the Housewives or something.
But that's how I am, too. Like, and it's hard because we work on opposite schedules. And it's funny, we're sitting here having a podcast about work-life balance, and neither one of us have it, really.
No.
But, I mean, I guess that's the point, is getting better at it.
Yep.
But, like... I don't know, I'll just be like sitting on the couch scrolling through TikTok or something, and Kara will send me like a listing, and I'm like, oh shit, I should probably be working right now, like not scrolling on my phone. So
you do the same for me. I mean, and that goes back to that accountability, which when you only have yourself to count on, it's very easy to skew, right? Or hubby wants to go have cocktails at lunchtime. Sure, why not? Like, I'll get to that later.
Exactly.
Which we are having cocktails today.
Yeah, we are. But that's okay, though, and especially like with our job, which I remember I was at Copper Cellar, and somebody, when I told them that I was doing real estate, they told me, they were like, well, you better get used to drinking. Because that's true. I mean, it's just networking social. Yeah. I don't think social drinking is a problem, but I mean, when you're having to do it all the time, it's like...
No, and today we are going to have cocktails, but it's actually a business lunch or business cocktail hour, so we'll get something out of it. But you got to get your tolerance up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, can't be stumbling out of there when you're meeting with somebody you want to do a deal with. But So I guess that our next point was daily gratitude, which I guess that kind of goes back to that, just being thankful for everything. But which you and I have a certain schedule we follow.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for everybody to not just go throughout the week and be like, okay, what do I have to do today?
Right.
Like actually setting intentions for the whole week rather than just the day.
Yeah. Which I think we do both. You and I mean, Maggie and I meet every Monday, and that's kind of our set the tone for the week. Get our calendar together. What showings do we have?
Right.
Who are we meeting? What appointments do we have?
It's our real estate day.
That's our real estate day. Like, get it together, because otherwise it's going to be Friday before you know it, and you haven't done shit.
My goodness, I know.
The week's gone. So that's super important. My Mondays with Maggie are...
Mondays with Maggie.
I'd like to actually call this podcast that, but...
Oh my goodness, but it can't be all about me.
It's all about you. But yes, that makes a good difference for me for the week.
And I have... Sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so I have like a calendar that I go by. And even when I was in school, like I have to write everything out because I'll forget.
Right.
And that's just who I am as a person. I'm very scatterbrained, and if I don't write it down as soon as it happens, like I will forget about it in one ear, out the other. So that's like one thing I have. I always have my planner with me, and you do too.
Yeah, well,
always
you
writing
kind of
stuff
got
down.
me on that. I kind of got away from doing that and using my phone, but it's not the same. I feel like when you're penciling it in and it's like right in front of your face, you don't. It's just there. Like instead of checking your phone, oh, what's on my calendar today?
But that's true. I mean, they even tell you that when you're in school. They're like, if you write it down rather than, a lot of people like type their notes and stuff like that.
Right.
People, all my teachers, professors, anything have always said, if you write it down, you'll remember it, because it's like the physical action of putting it on paper that triggers a different part of your brain to remember what you're writing.
Oh my God, I love that. It makes so much sense. Can
It
you
does.
tell that she's a psychology major?
But we forgot to mention that. Like, I think that's kind of why we're, I don't know, educated enough to talk about these kind of things, because we both have a psychology degree.
Yeah.
So going into the mindset part is more science-based rather than just, oh, yeah, have a good attitude today.
Yeah, which we do. On our board, we do have a winning attitude, because I think that, like, her and I both go by the whole what you put out in the universe you receive.
Right.
We've all read the book The Secret. I mean, that there is no secret to it. That's just the way it is. Like, if you're a negative Nelly all the time, it's just going to be that black cloud. It's like, find the silver lining. So she'll say, or you'll say, I guess I should be talking to you.
Okay.
You'll say, I hope, I was teasing. I said, gosh, maybe we'll have a glam squad at some point.
Yeah.
We're joking. And you're like, well, I hope it gets to be like that big.
I
No,
hope so.
sister. Hope it will.
It will.
You have to like change the tone.
Yeah.
And truthfully,
Which I
it
agree with
works.
that.
And you do.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better about that, because I used to be like, well, I hope. And that's kind of the thing that, I mean, everybody in our society really says, well, I hope this happens to me one day. Right. But then you don't go out and you don't put in the work and the time to actually do it.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, we were just saying that, but here now we are like actually recording the podcast so that maybe one day it can get to that.
Exactly.
So. And then,
which goes to your vision board thing.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up. So
that's our favorite part.
Maybe we should bring it out. But the very first day on our very first meeting, when Kara and I were like doing our team pictures and stuff, we did a vision board. Yeah. And that kind of set the tone. I mean, we've had like great success so far together. And I really think that is the reason that it's like that. I mean, you have it as your background on your phone, right?
I do.
Yeah, and I have it in my room, like staring at me every day.
And in the office now we've got the second one. I just feel like if it's staring at you, it's just there.
Right.
Right? And at the end of the year, this will be our first end of the year together, but for me at the end of the year, I'll go down it and like, okay, and cross them off, and it's amazing what you've actually accomplished that you didn't even really at the moment think, oh,
we can do that.
Yeah, just life happens so quick. So when you get to go back and go, oh my gosh, I accomplished almost everything. And it's not just work. Like I'll do family and like what I want for my marriage also. Right. And like
which is so important.
Yeah, like how many date nights do we want to make? We have to pencil in or whatever. And then you're like, okay, it like makes you really cautious of and conscious of your time.
Yeah. So and I think that's something that's really good to point out too, is because a lot of people that when they get into businesses, they kind of lose sight of their marriage and relationships because they're so focused on work. And that's what I think is like really good about you and John too, is like she says pencil in as a joke, but she's serious. Like they have to actually like schedule days with each other and like things that they're doing. Pathetic. But it's not like, because that's just life. And
oh my gosh,
that's why I like this work-life balance podcast and having two different perspectives, because I mean y'all have been in it a long time, and y'all went from not having kids and being able to do whatever you wanted to now having all kinds of different things going on.
Yes,
so
I know, which kind of goes to time management, which was our another our second point that we wanted to talk about today. So not only like the Monday meetings and like the getting our schedule together, that's where this whole work-life balance, I think, which Maggie named that, and it's actually perfect. It took me a minute to think about it, but like the more I think about it, it's exactly what we're doing.
It is.
We are trying to balance work, life, family, and who the hell even knows how to do that?
Nobody,
like,
really.
If y'all do, please call us and give us tips, because we're just winging it. Like I don't
really.
I'm trying, but you know, for us, like yesterday you called and I just happened to have like 10 minutes of John's attention, and we're working on a project. So I'm like, I'll call you back. I have just a minute. Like I got a minute with him. I got to fine tune some details on this flip thing that we're doing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean.
And that's all you had to say. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm with John right now. I got to go. And I'm like, cool.
Penciled in for just a quick second. Yeah. But that's just because we're going different directions right now and growing new businesses in a new state. Right. It hasn't always been like that. So, and it will change.
And that's what I like so much about our partnership, is because even though we're in two completely like different walks of life, we're kind of at the same point, because even though you've been doing real estate forever, and I think we talked about this on our like intro episode, is we're kind of at the same point. Like we're both here to grow a business and start from the ground up, where when you and John back in California were so established, you were just like having the reoccurring business and having referral business rather than having to like actually, put your feet down, like get your feet wet, like
do it all over again.
Exactly.
Which has been, that's been an adjustment, because I mean, you're so used to referral business and things just happen kind of innately, right? Like everybody knows you. Right. You move to Tennessee and you're just like a nobody in the sea of like huge fish, right? So that's been an adjustment. I think it's exactly where I'm supposed to be though, and like that is what I knew we needed. We'd already kind of reached the ceiling in Central Valley, and that's fine and that's great, and it had its time, but like we can really reach the stars here, and that's what's kind of like thrilling and exciting. And anyways, off point, who cares about me?
But it's funny though, because the way I got the name Work-Life Balance is because me and Reed were sitting at dinner one day, and I was like getting on my phone to do something with either like a client or Kara or something, and he was like, you need to put your phone down. Like, you need to be present and have some kind of balance. He was like, right now you have no balance. You're doing work at 9 o'clock at night. But when you have people that are moving here from California and it's 7 their time, like,
it changes things.
You just kind of compromise to whatever people want, rather than thinking about, okay, there's other people's feelings involved. So it's kind of hard. But
well, and you are gung-ho right now, which is exactly where you should be. Like, you're fresh into real estate. It's so exciting. Closing deals, making money. It's all like it's just new for you. So like, very 100%. That's all you're eating and breathing right now. That's all I eat and breathe, and I'm 20 years in the business. But it's like, I've learned that I have to balance a little bit, because at the end of the day, somebody falls short. And typically it's my kids or my marriage or work too. Like, okay, I've got to take a month and really get my life back in order. So.
Can we dig into that a little bit more though? Like, did you have a point when you were younger and everything was like so crazy and you were just getting into it that you realized, okay, I need to have some kind of balance here? Was it when you had kids, when you got married?
Yes. So I was in real estate probably like 2 years before we had our son. So fresh out of college, get going in it, whatever. Doing exactly what you're doing. Like, I loved it. Loved being in the office, showing property, open houses, phone call, whatever it was, I was all in. And it was fine because we didn't have children. Then, and I was working for a huge firm called PMZ. And I mean, they're massive, but they had like the most amazing educational part of the real estate. So it was where I needed to be as a fresh agent, right? So when that was going on and that was fine, I started having children, and they were like putting the pressure on. You need to spend more time in the office, but of course they don't want newborns in there. So now I'm getting like torn. What am I supposed to do? Leave the baby with the daycare? That wasn't really in our plan.
Right.
So I was there for like 5 years, and then my aunt is a broker, and she had her brokerage going. So, and my dad happened to be in that office, and it was in a commercial building that we owned. So it was super relaxed. I could bring the kids in there, whatever. So I hung my license there. And that's where the balance kind of changed, because it was like I didn't have the pressure. I could work at my home office. I could work there. I could do whatever, whatever was needed of me. Then that's when life really changed for us. We started getting into rentals, and that's what freed up my time. Gotcha. That's where I didn't need to be so hustling for the next deal. I got to finally chill a little bit, obviously dealt with all the rentals, but there was steady income coming in off that.
Which we'll have an episode about that too, and just how having rental and real estate can like really make you have the life that you want to live. I know that's crazy, but it really can, and everybody's seeing that now more than ever. I mean, Airbnb, short-term rentals, everything, even long-term rentals, but
that's the goal, is financial freedom, right? You're reading the book right now.
Yep.
If everybody knows the book, it's Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, my mentor, 100%. That's how we based our life on how we wanted to grow. Yeah. So that was the ultimate goal: financial freedom. I could be a mom. I could be a wife. I could go have happy hour with you and not feel I was missing a beat. Right. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Okay. And I mean, he talks about that a lot in the book, about like what it takes to get there. Yep. And it's really not much. You can take 200 and make 4. It's just being able to put your eggs in the right basket rather than the same basket.
Diversifying.
So, yes. Yep. And I think we have that to talk about too, is diversifying your portfolio and being able to achieve financial freedom. And it really does, which you know this because you did start young too. Yeah. It starts when you're young. Because the difference, I saw a statistic the other day, it's like the difference between when you start saving when you're 20 versus 30 puts you in a completely different bracket 30 years from now. Yeah. So it takes you from being a millionaire to only maybe having like $500,000 saved. So.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to look at the markets too and see like, okay, what is this a market to buy a rental in? Are we just going to get rental income, or are we going to get appreciation and rental income? Which that's the ultimate situation, right? Right. Clearly, the market we're in right now, you can get a really good rent. I mean, the rents are going up and up and up because there's lack of homes, right? Or people are waiting because they're scared to buy. But you don't have the appreciation side.
Exactly. So, and even though we are kind of in a weird market right now, that doesn't mean that real estate isn't going to appreciate anymore. Correct. Like, I mean, 20 years from now, you're still going to see prices that are higher than now, because that's just how the world works. It's just how money works. Yeah. I mean, we could do a whole video on that too, a whole episode. I mean, because there's just so much that goes into it. But real estate is something that's never going to depreciate. Owning land is something that no one can take away from you unless it's eminent domain reasons, like,
or you don't make your payment.
Exactly,
and you get it taken away.
Right, but I mean, there's just so much you can do with it too, and that's what people don't really understand when you say, "Oh, I'm in real estate." Just because being in real estate doesn't mean like, okay, I'm a realtor.
And that's exactly goes back to what I was saying when it changed, our path changed from me being an active real estate agent in the market to an active investor in the market. And there was a time, I was about 30, the market was in the toilet, and you were able to grab stuff for super cheap. And so we did. That's the route we went. For a few years, I wasn't out like showing property. I was buying property. We were showing ourselves property. And so it just changed our path right there, which worked out.
And that's paying yourself first. Yeah. I mean, which people, and I even read this last night, that's why it's like fresh on my mind. I like it. people hear the phrase pay yourself first and they think, okay, I'm going to pay myself first, go get a massage. Going to pay myself first, go get my nails done. That's like in a girl sense.
Sure.
Dudes, it could be go get new golf clubs, buy a new car, whatever. But no, that means taking the income straight to assets, then to your bills. Which this is like by Robert Kiyosaki in the book. He was like explaining that people think that it's just like completely different, that the government's going to be yelling at you, screaming at you if you're not paying your bills. Everything's going to be fine.
Right.
But pay yourself first so that in 20 years from now, you're not still having to pay the government.
Who wants to pay them? I mean,
Nobody.
We don't want to pay them. And that's funny you mentioned that, because I just saw something. He was on, Robert Kiyosaki was just on something. Gosh, I don't remember what it was, but it was like on like a quick little ad. And he was talking about wanting a Lamborghini. He's all in Lamborghinis. This guy's got a lot of them. And so when he told his financial advisor, he's like, yeah, like it's I think it was like 300,000 or 350 or whatever they go for. So instead of calling his financial advisor and saying, hey, I want to go buy that Lambo, get the money out of my account, he called his financial advisor to say, go find me a rental. Here's my money. Go buy me a rental that will pay for that Lambo.
Right.
So now you've got the value of the home, and you've got the fun little car you want, but that home is paying for that car.
Exactly.
And that is the rule of thumb. I mean, if you can live by that, which is the way we do, it's kind of puts you in a great position.
Right.
So
gotta spend money to make money.
You got to spend money to make money and be smart about it. I mean, you don't want to go just buy a rental because you think it's going to pan out, because it doesn't always. But, you know, the market the way it's going right now, it's going to be a great time to start picking up some investments.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
And then that will help you get your freedom.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, I mean, I'm putting money away now to be able to start doing that. And, I mean, we even had this conversation the other day, but now I've even got Reed on the train of like, okay, we're just going to buy up a whole bunch of property and rent it out, because that's going to be something that's always going to be there. There's always going to be a need for housing. And even though we are seeing Nashville grow, there's still so many people moving here. That it's going to be worse in 5 years than it is now.
Right. Well, and the way they're growing, I mean, Nashville, you saw the east side. The way it's growing, it's going to be
crazy.
It just keeps pushing and pushing. So you find those neighborhoods, they're outside of the bubble. So you look at Nashville, and you look at all the little neighborhoods all around it, like Columbia, Lebanon, all the ones we keep talking about. And that's where you start to invest, because when it pushes out into those markets, you still are in it at the right time, and then it's going to appreciate like that.
And you're going to reap the benefits later.
100%.
Yeah, I think delay of gratification is the number one thing that people don't have, but is the most important thing in your life. If you can do something now that's going to help you later, rather than buying something now that you're going to feel happiness from now, it's so much more rewarding.
Do you know how difficult that is?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't know about you, Maggie, but like, I want shit now. Like, I want, you know, it's so hard.
It is.
That's a hard trait, and not everybody's got it. So,
no.
You know, yes, I think that's fabulous. If you can do that and hold on to that, and then think about in 5-10 years what you're going to get.
Right.
You're ahead of the curve on that.
Exactly. Instead of just seeing something shiny in the moment and be like, oh, I want that. Right. Buying it, going into debt, and then what? 10 years from now, you get it taken away? Like,
which you can get that gratitude, or that, you say delayed gratitude, but you can get that instant gratification from a flip, possibly. So if you're kind of balancing, okay, the flip, let's get it done in a month or two, make a couple bills, I don't know. Then in 5 years, you've got that rental that's still making you rental income.
Right.
So you're kind of getting both at the same time, which kind of feeds your curb of appetite on both, right?
It does. It does, and that's kind of something else that he says in the book too, is, and we have it written down, if you're hurting now, how are you going to be able to pay for that? Like, if you're going, life is great, you have this wonderful job, you're getting paid lots of money, and then you get fired. How are you going to continue to pay for the things that you have?
That's back to your whole, you need separate income streams. You have to have income streams. Like, it's like if, I don't know, your whole goal in life is to be a football player and you get injured. I mean, yeah, most of the time I guess they're on like a contract. Maybe that's a bad example, but like, what do you do now?
Exactly.
You're just a washed up old football player that you had your past. Where's your income coming from? Unless you've got something, you know, obviously sponsors and whatever else comes along with it. But like for us, I don't ever want to be in that situation where John can't work because he hurt himself on the job or whatever it might be. Or I can't work because health reasons or what. I don't want that. I just don't want that ever. So that's why that we're so keen on investments.
Yeah. And for me, I don't think of it that way, but I just think of it like I'm still really young and I have my whole life to look forward to. And that's kind of scary for me because, I mean, it's really hard to see yourself 20 years from now. But I want to be able...
Well, you're looking at her.
Right. That's
Literally.
so funny, too. We always say that. I always say that.
It's not that bad,
it's like
is it?
looking in the mirror. And heck no, girl. Come on. I wish. I hope so, actually.
Sister.
I hope so. But, I mean... In 20 years, I see myself not having to work every day, not having to worry about money, and being able to just up and go wherever I want to go. If I want to go spend a month in Italy, like, fuck yeah, I can go spend a month in Italy.
Yes.
And, I mean, that's just something that I really want to do. And not a lot, which I didn't even realize this until a few days ago when Reed and I were talking about it because he had mentioned something to his dad. Not everybody has that mindset of, okay, I want to be rich.
That was the question I was actually going to ask you today, was because financial freedom looks different for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I was curious what it looked like for you. So it's traveling.
Yeah.
It's having the freedom to pick up and go if you want to. Mm-hmm. Is that what it is?
Right.
Yeah.
And not having to worry about work every single day and just being able to kind of wake up and be like, okay, what do I want to do today?
Yeah. It's not necessarily having a private plane or having a boat or being able to charter a boat.
Right.
It's just time. It's time.
That's it. Because time is the most valuable thing that you have.
Yeah.
100%. And there are, which I come from a really small town, so I don't know if it's like as common for you as it is me, but I mean, I didn't grow up with a whole bunch of money, so it wasn't ever something that I had, but it was always something I wanted.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people in my town that were so, what's the word? So like happy where they're at. Content is the word. Like, content in the little house with the husband and the kids and just having like a little happy life and not ever doing something big. And that's just never something that I wanted.
Me either. I actually envy those people though, that they can be so happy with so little. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's pretty amazing. It's like, wow, like what's our deal? Mm-hmm. You know, I just don't think that we'll ever be, we talk to our friends about it all the time. Like, when's enough? Like, how far up this ladder do you really need to go? Mm-hmm. You know, and like for John and I both being self-employed, like really it's like as far as we want it to go. Like there's not really a topper on it.
And that answer is different for everybody.
Yeah, like I'm not willing to stop. Like I love the opportunity that I can go all the way till I'm ready to stop. But am I going to burn this shit out? Yeah, I'm probably going to burn out. Yeah. I mean, I did burn out. That's one of the reasons why I had too much going on.
But then that's when you find people that you can pass it on to that's still going to make you money.
Right.
And like, I mean, that's kind of the case with us. Like, we are a team because, I mean, Kara has a family. She has all of her own things going on. And now it's kind of like, okay, I can take over some of the things that you don't necessarily have time for. Not that they're not important, because it's all really important, but it's just things that you're able to pass off.
Yes.
And that was kind of your thing. We always talk about, like, you didn't have anybody that you trusted enough to pass it on to.
No. I mean, people are hard to trust, right? Especially when you're trusting them with finances.
But, I mean, it's just kind of like the ceiling is never too high. And whenever you get to a point in your career that it's like, okay, I have all of this, do things ethically and do it smart and have people that you can trust.
Okay, but how do you know when that, like, for me personally, how do you know when that time is? That's a hard call.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Okay, so let's just for example, my dad's retired 2 or 3 times at this point.
Okay.
He's 70 years old. He's done great for himself, but he cannot not have his money working for him. It just does not work. And we'll have him on when he's visiting here next month. He cannot just sit and not have something going, which I love that you can get to that point where your money's working for you in totally different ways where you don't have to leave the house. Mm-hmm. You can sleep until 9 o'clock and take the dog for a walk and live a chill life, and you know that you have income coming in every month. And I guess that's when it would probably be enough for me. Like, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm already financially, that check is, we call it mailbox money, right? It just, you go to your mailbox, it's there.
Exactly.
And that's a good space to be in.
But I think you kind of didn't. I feel like you've reached that though, and then you kind of take on new endeavors.
That's my point. I can't stop climbing the freaking ladder.
No, because then
It excites me though.
In California, you had all your rentals, but then you opened a bar.
Yeah, and then decided to open another freaking bar.
Yeah.
Why do I need 2 bars?
Which, by the way, I've always wanted to know more about that. Like,
Oh my God, it's so much
when
fun.
you were what? Okay, all right. Let's just back up for a second. What made you get to the point of being like, okay, this is something I really want to do, and not just that you want to do, but you have time for?
I didn't have time for it.
Okay, so go into that a little
So
bit.
talk about your work-life balance. There was no balance because it was like my sister and I had always kind of thought, let's open a bar together. That was just something we wanted to do, and we were very particular on location. And then this spot showed up on Main Street in Ripon, and we just went for it. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. Never opened a bar before. Didn't know how to order alcohol. I mean, it was all like, we're just going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And we figured it out. I mean, there was definitely bumps, but we
so
had more
awesome.
fun there than, I mean, it was more of like our party grounds. Mm-hmm. You know, we just had a good time.
With a little bit of business.
Business, great. I know. We had a great staff. We had phenomenal wine. We got to meet so many cool winemakers. It was just, it was a very cool experience. Then it was like, oh, well, so-and-so asked us if we wanted to go in business with them and open one at their location. Sure, what the hell? Why not? What's another?
my gosh.
So it was just like,
Was
oh
it in
my
a different
God.
city? The second
Modesto,
location?
which is the next town
Okay.
over from Ripon. So it was like just 20 minutes from the house, like 2 minutes to the one location and 20 to the other.
Not bad.
But I had to be there every morning to do the cash register and make, you know, and you're dealing with a lot of cash. You don't have people touching your money.
No. And
That's-
that goes back to the trust.
Goes back to trust. And I had cameras everywhere, but there was still money was missing. You know, people are very good at stealing. Mm-hmm. Not my forte, but that is other people's.
And that's just the harsh truth of it, really.
It really is. So we did that for a while, and I just remember going to Mexico, and John and I were there with the kids, trying to have a good time, and my phone just freaking blowing up. And I was like, I can't even literally sit on this beach and have this cocktail without having to put out a fire 5,000 miles away, you know? So I got back from that trip. I said, I'm selling the one. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I have got to get out of this.
So that was your breaking point.
With
just
the
not
one.
being able to enjoy
I could
vacation with your
not,
family.
couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't. And I just knew that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the end of that. I was like, this is just too much stress on me. My sister was having a baby, so she was already out of it. We'd already bought her out. So now it was just me and the other owner. It was just too much.
Oh my gosh. Was John a part of that too, or was that just like your own endeavor?
He liked to go in there and play bartender.
That's so
He definitely liked to drink the beer. I think
funny.
he drank my profit most of the time. Just kidding.
Hey,
but
that
he
happens.
didn't. No, it was not his thing. He has always had his own job. But like if we needed to fill in as a bartender, he would pop in.
Okay.
It was-
love that.
It was. I've showed you pictures. It was a fun jam.
It was so cute.
But it just there was no. I had lost balance at that point. I just didn't have it.
So when did you end up like getting out completely selling both? Because you said that you sold the
that's right.
one, but
So
you had the other.
The vault we sold when we moved here. We sold that. There was no way I was going to run a bar from Tennessee.
No.
So that was all part of getting my affairs in order before we moved here, and that was one of the things we had to do.
Okay.
So we sold it to the gal that she had a restaurant right next door to us, and she was the best to open the wall and created one big restaurant and bar.
Okay.
So it was the perfect scenario for her and for us to get out.
So yours was just like drinks and appetizers kind of
Yep.
thing? Okay.
Yep, beer, wine, and like tapas style, light
Okay.
appetizers. Yeah,
Charcuterie board type.
exactly.
Okay.
We didn't have a kitchen, so you couldn't really do anything huge.
Okay. That's
But-
so nice though.
It was fun.
Okay, just to get like intimate for a second. I mean, we're going back to the trust thing. What about me? Because we met at a bar.
You're still questionable, Maggie.
Hey, that is fair. That is fair, but really, like,
I don't know.
you trust me with your clients every day. You trust me enough to come and sit in your living room in your house. I mean, you trust me with your money. I mean, necessarily, like I order things online on the card, like things like that. What about me made you trust me enough to be able to bring you on the team or bring me on the team?
That's a really great question. I don't know. I just have a really good feeling about you. I don't know. I just trust you.
Okay.
But if you fuck me over,
I would never. Knock on wood.
I
you
don't
never
think
know.
you would. I
But-
think you just have good intentions, and I see through that. And
Okay.
you're just a good person. But yes, I don't. like, I wouldn't trust anybody with my business.
Because, I mean, the only other person you've really trusted with any kind of business is your sister.
My sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know where to find her if she screws me over.
Yeah. There's no getting away from
There's no getting away. Which, Marissa, I got you, sister.
Yeah. Watch out if you're over there in California with the brokerage. But she runs your brokerage, right?
When there's activity, she takes it.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's active under my license in California.
How much business do y'all do out there?
It's been pretty minute since I've left.
Okay.
So she runs her husband's business too. So if I have, like, people call me, just recently, remember that one, like, last month or whatever, she'll take it.
Okay.
I just can't. I won't be able to give you the service you need this far away.
Right.
So she'll take care of it for me, and she does a good job.
Right. And then your life would suffer in other ways, just like we were talking about earlier. I mean, if you're having to continuously fly back to California, then why did you move?
Well, and that's my husband, right?
Right.
But it thins you out too much. And I would rather right now, with us talking about life and balance and work, that I put all my ducks right now into growing you and me, and, like, this fantastic partnership and a team, and eventually the brokerage and all the good stuff that's going to come together.
Right.
And that's where my mind's at.
And you and I are both the kind of people that are like, okay, when we're doing something, we're not doing it half-assed. Like, we're going all the way.
And I think, you know what, that goes back to what, yes, okay. That's something I thought about yesterday about you. A lot of people need that, like, kick in the ass to get going. You don't need that. And I love that about you, because I'm that way, and I can't stand when I have to, like, people just they don't have the energy, or they're not go-getters. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves in people, and you are not that at all. So I don't feel like I need to call you and say, hey, Mags, like, what's on your schedule today?
Yeah.
You call me, and you're like, okay, here's my to-do list. What am I missing? What else do you need me to do?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that, and that creates a lot of trust, because I know you're on top of your shit. So that's huge.
Which, I mean, and I think that kind of is vice versa, because, I mean, I feel like you're relying on me. And I don't want you to suffer because I'm not doing the shit that I say that I'm going to do. And that's kind of the whole thing, is, like, which we talked about this forever ago, you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver.
Correct.
Because that's the worst thing you can do when you're talking to somebody. Well, like, yeah, I'll do this and this and this and this.
Right.
And then do none of it.
Right.
Like, and going back to the to-do list, like, I have a problem where I'll sit down and I'll think about all of these things I'm going to do, and I try to get it done in one day, and it's not realistic to get that much stuff done in one day while having work-life balance, like being able to still enjoy taking my dog on a walk or hanging out with my family, whatever. So I have a problem, and I need to really hone in on that. It's like making my goals for each day realistic, and something for you too.
Realistic and prioritizing what's important. Like, so I know, like, you had something on your list that you needed to do for, like, a few days now, and you were dilly-dallying, and I'm not going to mention names on it, but it was because it really wasn't a priority. I know you needed to do it. It was a thank you card to a client that she really didn't care for. But it was something you needed to do for yourself, but you kept putting it off because you were like, I really don't want to send this letter. It really pissed me off, but I know I need to do it. And what did I say?
Just do it and take the high road.
Take the high road, because it's good business for you.
It is.
You look better. Let it be. So that's, like, prioritizing. I knew that was on your list, but it was definitely on the bottom of it.
And that's something too that, I mean, I'm new in this, but I've already seen, like, okay, just the deals that I've done so far have been the most complex. Like, we were talking about this. Nothing I've done so far, except for this deal that I'm closing on Friday, has been easy. Nothing.
No.
It's just crazy.
I know, and you've learned, and I think that you've learned so much because of that.
I mean, I really have, and I think that's what really made me step up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, okay, like getting babied through every transaction, because I know, like, a lot of big real estate companies, they have a lot of training programs, and they really take you through everything step by step and watch over you through everything, which, yes, you've done that for me, but you weren't like, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. I was coming to you like, okay, I've done this. Yeah. And I'm confused about what's next. And that's where you would kind of
Well, and I totally think the training programs are important and amazing, and there are things that you can learn from them, but there's nothing that you can learn like getting out in front of a client and doing your first listing appointment and going and showing property to some random couple you met on Zillow that you don't even know like, you asked me, should I bring a gun that one time? Well, maybe you should. Like, I don't know. We've never met them.
Can you tell we're in Tennessee?
Yeah, we're in Tennessee. And by the way, her gun is pink, of course.
My gun is pink.
And she's so
Thanks,
cute.
Dad. Dad, if you're listening to this, thank you for my gun. It makes me feel very safe.
Absolutely. And it's so, like, these are big things that you're learning on your own. Mm-hmm. No little educational course at a real estate company is going to teach you half the shit you just taught yourself in the last 3 months.
And if you're in the middle of like doing your license or thinking about getting into real estate, just know nothing you learn in the actual course is going to translate in daily life. Like maybe the ethics and morals and the laws that you learn, yes, and everything you learn is very valuable, and learning how to read the contract, stuff like that. But getting into it, talking to people, it's more about your people skills rather than how much you know.
And I think that's a huge compliment on you. I mean, every single person that you've spoke to that I've gotten feedback from has been so positive on your character and the way you talk to these clients, the way you make them feel, because it's this is the biggest purchase you make in your life, right?
Yeah.
The biggest.
For a lot of people, yes.
I mean, yeah, it's huge. Mm-hmm. You're now married to a home, and you've put a lot of money into it. So if you have some jerk agent that's just there to make the commission check, those people feed off that energy, and one, you're not getting a referral from that.
Right. And
two, you just made their big experience shitty.
Exactly.
And that's not what you want.
At all.
So I think that's a good compliment for you, babe, because these people have been, even the clients that fly in from Cali and you go show them if I can't, they're sending me messages saying, Maggie was such a delight.
Oh, that's
She
so
was
sweet.
amazing to spend the afternoon with. So that's good stuff. And that makes me feel good, because now it goes back to why I'm trusting you.
Validates
it, and it's good stuff.
Right. Well, that makes me feel good. I mean,
as it should.
Because I feel like, especially a lot of older agents, and this doesn't like say anything about you, but I mean, there's a lot of older people out there that have gotten to a point in their career where it's like, okay, I only do $1 million plus, and then they'll do like $300,000 listings as a favor to somebody and not treat them the same as they would somebody that's selling a $3 million house.
Yes.
So, and that's a big problem.
It's a huge problem. We just crossed one of those recently. But yeah, I mean,
That's kind of who I was referring to.
Yeah, and it's like, what's the difference? Like, a person that's $300,000 maybe is a first-time home buyer. That experience is probably more important to that person than the guy that's buying the $1 million property. That's maybe his fifth or sixth house.
Right.
And you're just another one. You're just another agent that he really doesn't care about, because if he did, he'd be using the same one he used prior, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, God, give that $300,000 one the experience of a lifetime.
Right. Because then in 10 years, when they're the ones buying $1 million house, they're thinking of you.
Exactly.
And just like, we'll see Zillow leads come in, and it's for, say, $50,000 worth of land.
Yeah.
To a realtor, that's not so exciting. You get 3%, and then usually if you're on a team, you have to split it, blah, blah.
Right.
But if you go, still take time out of your day to go show that person the $50,000 piece of land, they're going to think way more of you, because you're actually, no matter what the price point, taking time out of your day and really appreciating them for even meeting you.
Right.
So.
Because you're right. That's like pennies on the dollar when it comes to commission. But if you're looking at, like you're saying, the bigger picture of it.
Right.
Which is what we should be doing, always.
Because if they're buying that $50,000 piece of land and they're planning on putting a $3 million home on it, and 5 years from now they want to sell that home,
who are they calling? Exactly.
Maggie. So, Maggie. Or Kara.
Not the Ghostbusters.
Or both. That's funny. Okay. That just made the theme song pop in my head.
We're going to roll back into brand building.
Okay, social media.
So yeah, we've been trying to get our brand built, which I think there's different like levels of that.
There is.
Social media, of course, we're doing that, and I would suggest that's probably a good thing for anybody in this business, is being a presence on Instagram, Facebook. What else? You did a couple TikTok stuff.
A few, yeah.
Clearly the podcast,
yeah. I mean, but that all it gets your name out there.
Yep.
And the more people that see you and hear you, especially in our business, I mean, this doesn't go for people that are in the corporate America.
No.
But if you're an entrepreneur, you have to have social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I genuinely don't know a single person in our business that does not have some kind of Instagram page, Facebook group, or anything like that.
Wasn't it your correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, your girlfriend that's got she's got the cool sign that we kind of wanted to do something like that for ours. What's her business?
Waxology by Sarah.
Okay, didn't she blow up by doing, what was it?
The reels on Instagram. Yeah. So one of my good friends, Sarah, shout out Sarah, she has a waxology place. That's what she calls it. But it's really waxing, Brazilian, stuff like that. But it's here in Franklin. She did like reels of TikToks, which ASMR is like a huge thing now, which I never knew about that kind of stuff. What the hell is that? Where, you never heard of ASMR?
Hudson was just saying that to me. What is that?
Okay, it's like
noises.
It's noises, but okay, like
oh my God.
Satisfying things. So watching a candle burn and seeing the wax eventually like go all the way down. Okay. You know what I mean? Like that would be considered ASMR, or like nail tapping, or just like weird noises. I don't know the full name of it, but
I literally went like that or something in the car. He goes, "Okay, Mom, you ASMR girl." I was like, "What the hell is that?" And he goes, "It's so ASMR." I had no clue what that is. And he goes, "It means you're making funny noises with your mouth." I'm like, "I just made a
yeah, like chewing or like that." Oh, so I'm so sorry, y'all.
What?
So sorry.
So that's like a thing?
That's a thing, a huge thing.
It's more like a fetish than a thing.
Maybe for some people, but I mean, I know people, well, okay, not personally, but I see it on TikTok and other things like that where people used to like fall asleep or like be relaxed. Okay. I personally,
no, I don't want to hear somebody doing this to fall asleep.
No.
Or
like clicking a pen.
Okay. That's like some like, yeah.
Anyway, we're off base again. But so she did some of these videos, which are reels on Instagram, and it was a video of, she did wax melts that were, she has a few different ones, but like mushrooms or angels or moons or stars, and then they eventually melt down into the wax. Okay. And it's really pretty, really glittery, whatever. So one of those blew up. Now she has like 13,000 followers on Instagram.
From that?
From just a few videos blowing up. Okay. And now it just continues to grow and grow. So, I mean,
well, next time you see us, we might be clicking or doing something weird.
Trying to get attention.
We're snapping.
Whatever. I'm so sorry.
That's so funny. Okay, well, that goes back to social media and how it definitely rules the flipping world. I mean, everybody is plugged in.
TikTok now is crazy too.
TikTok's insane.
I mean, you can put a few videos on there, and next thing you know, you're damn Charlie D'Amelio.
Oh my God, just making bank.
Yeah, making absolute bank.
Of stupid shit that they put on TikTok.
Doing a dance in front of a camera.
My kids, they just scroll. It's like this. My husband too. I have not got on. I'm not on there, but I'll do the reels, which is kind of the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. So it is kind of
very similar. Which, going back to the psychology point of view of it, that 6-second video that triggers just an absolute frenzy in your mind of attention. I mean, scrolling through that will have you sitting there for hours.
You lose track
of time and everything around you.
Which is so not productive.
So not.
No. I mean, I do my back to our routine, like coffee, that's when I'll do my Instagram, or I'll do a post, or my Facebook, whatever. That's kind of like what I'm scrolling through.
Right.
Used to be like legit reading the newspaper, which I miss that. I need to get back to that. Like, I love to have.
Makes me think of my grandpa.
I know, but there's something soothing and satisfying. Maybe that's my ARMJ, whatever it's called. Is flipping the pages. Okay, do you like a book or do you like a Kindle?
I like a book.
Like the flipping the pages.
Flip the page.
Okay, me too. So like the newspaper, I'd sit there and like it was soothing. I had my coffee. Now I'm freaking on my phone.
Yeah. I'm
going to get out of that. I'm going to get some newspaper or whatever they deliver out here, the Tennessean or...
The Tennessean.
Yeah.
Do something like that.
I'm going to start getting back at that.
Or magazines, just really anything, which I've never personally been a big fan of magazines.
Just junk stuff in there typically, but...
I know it was a thing in the early 2000s, though.
Yes, like People magazine or what's going on the soap
operas.
How you got
your news.
I know,
but
now I could care less. It's all on TV and Instagram. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like the flipping of a page. Anyways, back to brand building.
Anyways, yes.
Well, we could just talk and talk and talk.
I know, we really can. This is why we did a podcast. We were even saying literally yesterday or the day before, we were sitting in the office just going back and forth about some ideas, and we were like, we should just have the camera rolling. Like,
well, yeah. And honestly, this is coffee. Like, it's not anything exciting yet.
No, just
3 o'clock, it'll be better.
Which is probably why we talk so fast. Maybe our podcast would be an hour and a half long every time if we slowed down. But something that we're doing specifically to build our brand is the door knocking, which I'm a huge fan of. Going out, networking with people, going out, whether that looks like bars or networking events or anything like that. Something we've done, koozies.
Just getting our brand like where people can physically see it.
Yes.
I think that's important, and everybody uses a koozie. And I mean, everybody in Tennessee, it's a huge thing because it's so humid that, like, even when you're out at a random bar, you have a koozie on your cocktail. Like, it's just a thing. So,
or else your hand is like drenching.
It's just drenched, and it keeps it cold. So everybody, like, I see, here's my Bajetti Partners koozie, and you're doing the same, and it's like, so that's one way of getting our name branded out there.
Did your sons like use it at a restaurant or something?
Yeah,
that's
I love it. We took it to the IndyCar or whatever that we went to.
Oh yeah.
And then John and I took it to the Titans game. I mean, wherever we're at the bars with it on, like wherever we're at.
And I love that.
The other thing we're gonna do also is Amy's gonna start making us those candles, so that a closing gift will be like this, but it'll say Bajetti Partners, home sweet home kind of thing. Just another thing that we feel like if your name is in front of people all the time, they tend not to forget about you.
Exactly.
And I've learned firsthand, and you're learning it also, that the people that you expect to use you are the ones that don't. And I'm talking like buying or selling a home. The ones that like come out of the blue and you're like, I don't even know who you are, but oh my God, I'm flattered that you even thought of me. Those are like those make it special. But unfortunately, the ones that you are like in the bag, they just sometimes they don't. And so the more you can keep your face and your name on whatever it is, the koozie, the candle, Instagram, the more they think of us.
Right.
And so that's really like our brand building is really based on that.
And that's something that I meant to mention earlier that I didn't, is if you come to me and ask a question or whatever and you say, but I already have a realtor, that is never, ever going to make me mad or stop helping you for any reason, because I respect that. If you can sit here and like...
Loyalty.
Yeah, show your loyalty, then I want people to be able to do that for me, so I'm always going to support you whether you already have one or not.
100%.
Because a lot of people, like, as soon as they're like, okay, I already have a realtor, but blah, 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 they'll stop there, just be like, okay, go ask them.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're even still helping them says a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's a good quality. A lot of people won't because they feel like it's a waste of time. And if they're basing their job on that commission check, it just is a different kind of realtor than you and I are basing our business model on, which is passion, loyalty, customer service, being the best in the business.
That's true.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, our goal is to be the best in Nashville. And we will succeed this.
Yeah, we will
succeed this. But it takes characteristics like that. These asshole agents that are not really customer based, they will wash away when this market changes. Mark my words on that. I've been through this cycle before.
Yeah,
they will go away. They'll go away.
And that kind of goes to, oh my gosh, I don't even want to bring it up. And don't tell on me.
Okay.
Don't tell on me.
Oh my God.
But everybody makes mistakes, okay? Whether it's like little or big, you cannot hold somebody to one tiny mistake. Like, whether that's your customer or whether that's your realtor, on both sides, people miscommunicate sometimes. Shit happens. And you just got to be able to let it go, okay?
You told me you weren't going to share this experience.
I know, but I was thinking about it.
I think you should, because it shows you're real.
Okay.
Things happen. Why not?
All right, I'll go into it. All right. So I have done multiple open houses for other people. And that's just one thing that helps me get my name out there, because you don't ever know who's going to walk into an open house. And this is kind of off base, but a couple weeks ago I did an open house for a guy at our agency, Bradford, and I had my koozies and a business card and like a little flyer ready to give somebody when they walked in the door. And that person told me, which she was a realtor coming in, she was like, this is going to make me remember you every time I think of an open house. Because you're the only person that's ever done that and given me a gift, whether it was your open house or not. Yeah. So, but that's just a good way to get your name out there and get business. But I told somebody I was going to do an open house, had 120% full interest in doing it and intention to do it. And then whenever we were talking about it, we scheduled it like 2 weeks ahead. I wrote it down in my planner wrong. I wrote it because most open houses are from 2 to 4. This one was from 12 to 2, which is no excuse by any means. But when we were talking about it, I wrote down 2 to 4. And it was at 12 to 2. So I missed it. And that's just totally not like me at all.
No.
But that's why I go to say, like, don't hold somebody to one mistake, because they could be the best person in the world.
Let's just say she was in full-blown panic mode. She calls and she's like, I fucked up.
I did.
What did you do?
Kara's like, oh God,
I'm like,
what's wrong?
what happened? I'm thinking like the worst things, right? And she's like, I didn't show up to the open house on time. And I'm like, well, I guess you had told her. Long story short, they had an offer on the property as well. So you were already kind of like, maybe we don't need to do it. And you had called and she's like, actually, it's like in 5 minutes. And you're like, what do you mean it's in 5 minutes? It's not for 2 more hours.
Yeah, she was like,
oh my
so you mean to
gosh.
tell me you're not already there? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
She panicked.
Like, I started crying because I felt so bad. And that's just totally not like me at all. I'm always like on my P's and Q's, but that day I wasn't.
But it shows that you're a human and we make mistakes. And that really wasn't, in the grand scheme of things, that big of a mistake. But it was enough to rattle her, rattle probably the seller. Everybody got a little rattled.
Yeah.
And it goes back to us making our schedule and checking it twice and whatever. But you were fine and you felt so bad, and I felt so bad for you.
I know, I felt so bad. Kara was like, well, I would have kicked your ass. And I was like, I know, I would have kicked my ass. I would have done it too, but it was just a lot.
Okay.
So, yes, trusting people is one thing, but don't hold them to it when they make one mistake. But back to the whole brand building thing that was completely off base, but still important. It's something that we do a lot is networking.
We do a lot of networking, which I think is super important with us being new to this community. You're born and raised, clearly, but like you're new to Franklin.
Yeah.
And obviously to real estate. So being out, meeting loan officers, meeting title companies, networking with people that are connected to the community. We just went to that TN Women's Connect. At Five Daughters at the factory, and that was cool. We met a few other female business owners. And so just kind of getting our name out that way as well. So that's been really good.
Which I have another one next week in Murfreesboro.
You're going to go to the Murfreesboro one. So network's important. And we tease about it being a drinking thing. Yeah, sometimes it is. But it's not always. It also is like you do a lot of luncheons with these people or whatever.
Which tends to be good. I mean,
you've got leads off of them. You went to like, what is it, RIN?
BNI.
That's the other one.
Yeah, Business Network International.
Yes, the BNI, and you got a lead, which could be a really good one coming to the beginning of the year. So like, I mean, you're just putting your fillers out there, and whatever grabs on, I mean, that's what you do in this business.
And I think the most important thing is just showing up.
Yeah.
And just being there.
And when you went to the second one, remember they were like, I recognize you from the other one. So then you start to become a familiar face, and that's important when you're building your brand.
Right, and we saw a girl at TN Connect that I knew from BNI or had met at BNI. So it's just like a small world. Yep. So everybody needs to get out there and do that. I mean, I think that's the most important thing.
And I had one note that I'd put on there was when we did the vision board, this was Maggie's vision board part. One thing she put on there was to talk to 3 new people every day. Yeah. And I think you do that. You probably talk to more than 3 people every day.
Oh, for sure.
New people. But that was kind of a cool, like, something to put on your vision board. Like, I don't think about it like that. But then I had told John that. I'm like, I think that's kind of cool. You should try it because he's clearly building his business as well. And he's like, God, that's like more difficult than I thought it was. Like, 3 brand new people. These are not subs. These are not people that work for you. Nope. These are Joe Schmo off the street that you run into at the, I don't know, Home Depot.
Brand new people.
Brand new people.
You're just telling people what you do.
So how does that work? I mean,
it's just different. Like, and I don't always hit that goal. Like, I'm not out searching for somebody every single day that I've never met before. But just when it comes organically and naturally, like, I'll just give you an example. So I went and ate with one of my girlfriends in downtown Franklin last week. I don't even think I've told you this, but I was walking down the street and there was a little non-profit organization set up on the side of the street, and they just saw me and they were like, can we ask you a question really quick? And I was like, absolutely, whatever. So I stopped. Which, by the way, please always, if somebody is trying to get your attention on the side of the road for whatever it might be, not necessarily like homeless people at a red light asking for money,
Right.
but people like doing surveys and stuff like that, because that helps their business, and that's kind of the thing. You want everybody to be able to grow. But that's beside the point. I handed my business card to them after I left and answered their questions, whatever. And I was just like, yeah, well, I'm a realtor, so if you need any help with anything, like, just let me know. And I handed them my business card.
Oh, I love that.
And then the guy was like, Lashley, like Trey Lashley? And I said, yeah, that's my older brother. And he was like, no way, I went to high school with him. And so it was just really funny, somebody that I had never met, and he actually follows me on Instagram. Like, I mean, that guy knows me without knowing me.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because it's such a small world, meeting somebody new every day and just telling them what you do and who you are.
How cool is
they
that?
They might already freaking know you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
You've
it was just a crazy
had that kind
convenience.
of, I guess, too, because your roots are so deep here, and you have, she has like, you have 7 siblings?
Yeah.
So she has a huge family, and they're very well connected all around, like your uncles and everybody. But I feel like that's been, didn't you meet somebody else with the Lashley last name, and you're like, nobody has my last name. It was a realtor.
Yeah, it was a realtor.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's like,
So whenever I was showing your California clients houses in Murfreesboro, I was like looking up the listing agent because I had to call him to set the appointment, and I saw it. His name is Charles Lashley, and I was like, nobody has that last name. I mean, my grandma, she was like deep into the ancestry stuff before she died, and she was like saying how our last name is super, super rare. And so I saw Lashley, I was like, nobody has that name, so I just called him up, and I was like, who are you? Really? I mean,
are we related?
To put it in short. Yeah, are we related? Such a Tennessee thing. But he was like, actually, yeah, we are. Like,
crazy.
Your dad's my cousin, or something crazy like that.
Gosh.
But then even Kevin Watson, I just went and ate lunch with him one day because I met him at BNI. Had no idea who he was.
Linder, right?
Linder, yes. And then my stepdad and his sister actually went to high school with him from Alabama.
World. And not even from Tennessee.
No, from Hartselle, Alabama. If y'all know where that is, I'll be very surprised because it's such a small town.
Oh my gosh.
And they ended up going to high school together, and he ended up like going to her funeral and all kinds of stuff. And it was just like, okay, this is insane.
Crazy. But I think that's because you're getting you're sharing your information, you're sharing your name, and then it's like, because if you don't say anything, nobody knows who the hell you are, right?
Exactly.
So it's like you get out there. That's back to the whole branding. Like, you're branding yourself, like not only with your last name, that's important and people know, but you're sharing that with people, and that's how you're making those connections.
Which it is very uncomfortable for me because I've always been the kind of person that, I hate even going into Walmart because I hate seeing people I know out in public. So it's been such a big shift for me to have to actually put in work to get my name out there, because that's something I never wanted to do until I started in this business.
Welcome to my world. That's exactly how I feel. Like, I never had to do that in California. You'd walk into the restaurant or the grocery store and everybody knows who you are because they're small towns.
Right.
Here, you and I go to that Tennessee Connect, and I was like, freaking duck out of the water, whatever. How's the saying go? Fish out of water. I'm like, God, I don't want to go up and say, hi, I'm Kara Bajetti with Bradford Real Estate. Nice to meet you. I mean, it's so uncomfortable.
It is.
That, and maybe it's not for everybody. For me, it's just so new that it's uncomfortable. But it's like, after we did start, like, okay, you felt better about it.
And you could tell that we weren't the only people that felt that way.
Correct. Yeah.
I think other people were coming up to us too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think everybody feels it to a certain degree.
But you have to get out of your own way, because it's like...
Yes. And that's the biggest... I'm so glad you said that. That is the biggest thing, is getting out of your own way. Because if you can just realize that nothing freaking matters, like we're a tiny speck on...
I know.
In a huge universe, nothing we do on a day-to-day basis really and truly matters to anybody but you.
Yeah.
So, you just kind of
That's a great point. I know.
pick and choose what you want in your life.
Yeah, but we just can't get over that. Like, oh, God, I don't look good in those jeans. Oh, gosh, my hair doesn't look perfect today. Who gives a shit? No one's actually caring. No one knows that your part is off today.
No.
Does anybody know?
Nobody. And that's kind of like, I mean, I struggle with acne and stuff, and you're like, it doesn't even matter. Like, that's when I look at you, that's not even what I look at.
No, I don't. I look at your blue eyes.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm not filling her head with any more bullshit today.
I know. Kara's gonna make my head. But
I adore you. That's why.
something I wanted to bring up too about mindset is, I mean, you and I both have psychology degrees and know how hard mental illness and stuff like that can be. When you're an entrepreneur, you kind of have to look past a lot of that. And no matter how you feel on a day-to-day basis, you have to kind of just still get up and do the shit you have to do.
Right.
And I think, I mean, we even saw this yesterday. Like, I just woke up and I was not having a good day. Not for any physical reason. Just
down that day.
I was just down yesterday.
Yeah.
Literally for no reason at all. I mean, I have no idea, but I got out of bed and I still had to do the shit that I needed to do.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, then
Not going to get done.
it's, one, not going to get done, but then that puts you behind too, because a lot of the things that I say I'm going to do on a day-to-day basis, if I'm not feeling good or I'm down, whatever, then that puts a lot on you.
Well, I think that all circles back to accountability for, like, when you're an employee, and I never was a good employee. I mean, I've been an employee multiple times, but I'm not a very good one because I like to do my thing on my schedule, and that's not a 9 to 5. So, like, when you wake up in the morning, you don't have your alarm going off. Like, you need the time check or time card or whatever it's called checked in at 9 o'clock. No, your day starts when you make it start, right?
Right.
So when we have our routine, like, you know, the kids help me with that because they got to get up for school, and so I like to be up when they leave. So my day starts early. But if you don't have yourself to push you to that, you won't be a successful entrepreneur no matter what you try, because you need that driving force. And for you, I know for a fact you have it, and I have it. That's an internal drive.
Yeah.
I don't need a boss calling me. That, in fact, is going to make me roll over and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I have to drive myself, right? So I know what I want, and I'm willing to sacrifice to get it. And that's not sleeping till noon and living an unhealthy lifestyle. That's not.
Because that's half of your day gone.
Correct. It's getting your ass up. It's getting your workout in, clearing your mind, having your coffee, having just your moment to, like, really prioritize what's happening in your life that day and that week, and setting your plan and accomplishing it.
And having intentions for your day. I think that's probably the most important thing that we've said all day.
Yep.
Is having an intention and doing the things that you need to do to get it done.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't have that.
They don't have it. They need the boss that you have expectations, and if they're not met, you get fired. So it gives them a driving force. You do not have that when you're a realtor. You do not have that when you own any business of your own.
Right.
You are your boss. So.
And I think that's kind of a stigma of, like, the victim mindset, which we talk about growth mindset and having, like, the mentality to see what you want long term and do things in the short term that are going to get you there. But you see people all the time that have this victim mentality, and I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything, but it's just the truth. I mean, you sit here and you can complain about your life all day long, but until you're doing things to change it, I mean, whether that's your marriage, your job, if you're unhappy at your job, fucking quit.
Change it. Yeah.
I mean, every single day only happens one time, and I saw that a few weeks ago. Some guy was, like, doing a TED Talk or something, and a little clip was on a video on Instagram, and it said, you literally only live 24 hours one time. So you got to make the most of it.
That's a great mind state. Yeah. Or mind. Yeah. If you could really, like, put that to practice. And that's hard.
Yeah.
That is hard, because there's days when I wake up and I'm pissed off, and it's like, I'm just mad at the world today. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But guess who's getting that? My husband and my kids.
Exactly.
Like, oh, why are you mad today? I don't know. Just having a shitty day. Okay, well, fluff it off because I just lost 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's start tomorrow fresh and beautiful and make the best of it.
Yeah. And I worry about stuff a lot. Like, that's kind of my biggest thing, is, like, I stress and worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. But that's not going to do anything except for waste today.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to just put that in the back of your head and just keep moving forward and compartmentalize your problems.
Just tuck it away for a rainy day.
Sweep it under the rug, right. But, I mean, I guess to just recap, I feel like we've talked a lot about things that you should do, but not really how to do it. So
I don't know if that's like something you can tell people how to do. Like for me, it's just what works for my lifestyle. If there was like a step 1, 2, 3, I mean, that would make it easier, but it's not like that.
No.
Like I have my daily plan, and then it gets messed up half the time because, you know, something
That's the
changes.
truth.
Something changes, and, you know, you may have to go show property in the middle. Oh, wait, we were supposed to be having a meeting. Oh, wait, now you got to go show property. Or kid gets sick and I go to pick him up from school, or whatever the case might be.
your son ends up having to have stitches in the middle of the day.
The middle of the day. Yeah, exactly. That was
Yeah.
a shit show. But yeah, that happens. And then the next day I'm in the doctor's and had some faints at the doctor. It's just like, it's not super predictable.
No.
But I will say, like, I will go through the day and at the end of the day go, oh my God, like, did I do all that? Or did I do all that? Oh my God, how the hell did I fit all that in?
Or a lot of times it's the reverse, and it's like you've had so many things thrown at you during the day.
That you didn't get anything done?
You didn't get anything on your list done, and then you're like, well, shit.
I know.
And that kind of goes back around to the whole vision board thing, is if you don't meet your goals, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know on our vision board, like, we're shooting high.
Right.
And you should. I mean, you should have unrealistic expectations for yourself, but just don't get down when you don't meet them, because I mean, as long as you're getting close and doing the things that you can do to try to meet them, that's all that really matters.
Well, I mean, for you, like, your vision board, or our vision board when we first started, when we just added to it 2 days ago, you had already crossed off 1 or 2 things on it and increased that goal. And how cool is that?
Exactly. And
I mean,
it's been what? It hasn't even been 90 days yet.
No, I think it was like barely 3 months. Not even 3 months. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you were already like, nope, that goal is already met. I'm changing it to this.
Up to the million.
You did.
Yeah.
How freaking cool is that?
I mean, it's badass.
It works. Vision boards work. If you don't do them, I would suggest you do them. They actually work.
And I think this all goes to just say that it takes a village. Like, it's not you against the world. It's really not. And if you have that mindset, then you're going to drown.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everything can't get done by yourself in a day. I mean, you and John sit here every single day and coordinate your schedules because neither one of you can do all of the things that you're trying to do by yourself.
Right.
And, I mean, that's just kind of my thing now, too. Reed started his new job.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, well, I have all of this to do today. So when you get home, like, you have to take the dog out, do all of these things because you really can't. You can't do it alone.
But that's what's nice about a partnership. And you have it with your spouse, you have it with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife. You and I have each other.
Yeah.
And that, like, it is a game changer. It's the only way I think that you can scale a business in this business. There was like a cute meme on like Instagram or whatever, and it was a realtor going up and down the staircase. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
And it says like, when you're a realtor trying to do everything yourself, and she's running like freaking in circles. And it's like, oh my God, that's been the last 15 years, 20 years of my life, like trying to do everything your own.
Right.
And you can't. It's really impossible. And now when you look at like successful businesses or teams, and you're like, okay, why do they have so many people on their team? Well, because everybody has a part.
And everybody's contributing.
And they're all contributing, and they're all working together as one whole, and it makes them be able to scale.
Right.
And if scaling is your goal, which it is ours, you have to have each other to do that.
And that just brings in, I think one of the biggest things in real estate and just life in general is your circle of influence. And the more people you add, the more circles of influence that you can hone in on.
Right.
And that just, I mean, they're right back to it, scaling your business.
Yep.
I mean, that just takes you to a whole nother level.
Right.
But, I mean, I guess to just put all of this into action, have a schedule.
Yeah.
Have a routine. I mean, if anything, that'll just help your mind. I mean, of all things.
Have a plan. That's it.
Have a plan. Have intentions.
Uh-huh.
And more than anything, what helps me is I pray every night before I go to bed. And I wake up and the first thing I do is just think about, okay, well, I'm glad I woke up this morning.
Oh.
I mean, but that's the truth.
I'm glad you did too.
Because, I mean, and whether if you've pissed everybody in your life off, you're alive and that's all that matters, and you can change your life every single day.
Yeah, you can. And we're not going to make this like, because we're both very spiritual, and so we're not going to make like a religious or a political podcast by any means. But the whole always giving gratitude and being thankful for what you're giving given is so important. Like, if you're always asking, like, come on, like, give me a sign, do something. Why can't I get a better job? Like, blah, blah, blah. I swear you don't get it. But if you're like, thank you so much for all the beautiful blessings, right?
Exactly.
It's like, I feel like you get more.
Because then that just opens the door for more.
Yeah.
And instead of having that, like I said earlier, victim mindset, that it's like, why me? Why me? Why does this only happen to me?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're not opening your mind up.
I know, and I just don't have a lot of room for those people in my life.
Me either.
Like, I don't have pity for them. It's just make a damn change.
Make a change.
It's not that hard.
Especially when it's somebody that's close to you and you're seeing it firsthand.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, I want to be nice to you. I love you. But get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
I mean, wake up, have a schedule. Make a freaking vision board. Even if it feels stupid to go back to first grade arts and crafts with a marker and a poster board, do it and hang that shit on your wall. Look at it every day.
Look at it every day.
We do.
I mean, we do when it's working.
Because that automatically, and which, I mean, everybody says this. There's all kinds of podcasters, motivational speakers that say this. If you can see it on paper and think and visualize your goals, and I think I heard somebody say this the other day. I can't remember exactly who. But it was like, when you're laying down in bed at night, envision yourself in that Ferrari. Envision yourself in that huge mansion or whatever your goal is.
Manifest it.
Manifest it. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, me and you talked about
You manifest the shit out of this lifestyle you've got going on. I mean, you literally, that was the first conversation we had when you got here, is how much you've manifested this. Like, manifested being successful, manifested living in Murfreesboro, like everything that she's doing, you've manifested. And I think that's so freaking awesome. I mean, because I feel like that's what I've always done.
Yeah.
And I'm still manifesting.
And that looks different for everybody.
100%.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's all part of it. And you continue to manifest what you want. You and Reed want to get a house. You want to do this. You want to start rentals. You put a flip on the vision board.
Right.
Like, there are things that you are throwing out there that they're going to shockingly happen to you. And you're going to go, holy hell.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
And it's crazy. I mean, time goes by so fast. And my dad has always told me, like, I should get this tattooed on me one day. And it's change is the only constant in life. And that sounds contradictory. Have you heard that?
No, but I love that.
Yeah,
okay.
It sounds contradictory, but that's the truth. Change is the only thing that is constant in your life.
Because it's always happening.
It's always happening. And one day you're going to wake up and either have all of the things that you want or have all the things that you don't want.
Wow, that's a dad quote?
That's a dad quote.
Dad.
It's a dad
quote.
That's
a good one.
I know, right? It's a good one.
I love that quote. Yeah, that's a good one.
And my grandma always said, which I should get this tattooed on me too, is this too shall pass. Any problem that you're having today is not going to be a problem in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So not to get bogged down by it and worry. So whatever that looks like for you, fine, great. Make a routine, make a schedule, make some kind of plan, whether that's time blocking or however the hell you want to do it. Yeah. Just get yourself out there and do what you got to do to make your business grow, especially.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're doing. Hopefully, I mean, it will work out for us. Mm-hmm. We're losing that word in our conversation. But, yeah, I mean, we're just giving you our what we're doing for mindset, time management, and brand building, and what our balance looks like. But it's so different for everybody. And if we can give you a couple tools that work for us, maybe you try to put them into your life and see if it helps. But
right.
I mean,
and if you didn't have a schedule or a routine, and you hear us talk about ours, then text us.
I love it.
Let us know. Which, before we go, there's something I haven't even mentioned this to you about.
Oh.
But I'll just throw it out there because it's on my mind. I really want to do like a question and answer series too, whether that be like at the end of every episode or just do one episode every now and then.
Okay.
And so like send in questions, or we'll write questions, have people around us write questions, and we'll answer them, whether that be something about real estate, success, or just life in general.
Just in life? All right. I'm down for that. That'd be kind of fun.
I think that'd be fun.
Like fire them off?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the answers. I like it.
Exactly. I like that. But
all right.
Anyway.
Well, that was a great episode. I hope we taught you a thing or two.
Yeah.
Tune in for the next one.
We'll have a guest on the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But
we do have a guest, and we have a couple of exciting guests coming up, so we're pumped about that. One is a traveling adventure.
Yeah, we're headed to Atlanta in a few weeks, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that.
Anyway, thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.